Hey everyone, welcome back to the workshop. Artisan Pirate here, and in today's fun video I have got a special guest out here in the workshop with me, and he is going to tell his story, and we're going to do a little interview over here. You guys remember it was around this time last year my good friend Chuck Coates came over here onto the channel, and I asked you guys if you would want to see more videos going forward into the future, and you guys said yes, absolutely yes. But with the time and schedules of everyone, please understand, it's trying to just coordinate people to come over to break away for an hour or so to come in and film this style of video. But when my buddy Robert here said he was coming down from New York State to take part in the 25th annual Klingspor Woodworking Extravaganza in Hickory, North Carolina, and then he was going to make my hometown his base camp before heading back home, I knew I wanted to get him over here over on the channel so he can tell his story. And it just goes to show that distance does not play a part in the value of friendship. Again, he's in New York, we are now in North Carolina, and that big distance, we are very close friends and we talk almost daily. So I'm happy to have you on the channel, Robert. Please introduce yourself and tell them whatever you want them to know about yourself.
Well, my name is Robert Cohen, and as Pirate says here, we became close friends here 4 years ago. And I've been a woodworker for many years. My grandfather was a woodworker. He got me interested in woodworking, and it's been a lifelong, obviously a wonderful thing for me to be in. It really, it's a very relaxing thing. Anybody that's been doing the woodworking. I got interested because the Pirate was, I was just doing some YouTube searching, and I did a lot of scroll sawing, and of course, he's the king of scroll saws, and I had some questions I wanted to ask him in regards to the angle on his scroll saw and how it worked, and he had some great things. I tried it, it worked fantastically, and from there, it turned out to a wonderful, really great friendship for the two of us.
It really has. And now you have a passion for history, correct?
I do, yes. I'm actually our town. I live in a little town called Volney, V-O-L-N-E-Y, New York. It's just outside of Fulton, which is north of Syracuse, New York. And we're only about an hour from Canada. But I became the local historian, back in 2022, the same year that I met you. Nice. And so it just worked out well. It's one of my passions ever since school, and it tied that together. And so I'm kind of known for being the historical woodworker. And now that I'm getting older, I can really live up to that name.
Yeah, we met formally in 2022. The Woodworking Extravaganza came around. It was right after what happened in 2020. It was going to be the first in-person extravaganza that they had had in a couple years because of what happened in 2020. And I was telling Robert about it here on social media. We quickly became fast friends on Facebook and all the social medias and just started chatting back and forth. But I said, hey, this woodworking show's coming up, and it would be a real hoot if you would come down, but I know that's a very long way away from New York State for you to come down. Well, believe it or not, he humored me and came down in 2022, and we took part in the show. We kind of walked the show floor. I wasn't doing live demos at that time. That was a little bit later on. But then after that, he said, hey, how can I come back again maybe next year and actually take part in the show? And we arranged it. He quickly became a member of the North Carolina Woodworkers that you guys know I'm a part of. Great group of individuals, both men and women, so talented in their fields and specials of woodworking out in the big wide world and the great state of North Carolina. And he signed up to come down and do live demos that very next year in 2023. And then in 2024 he came back again. It blesses me and humbles me that he thinks enough of everything to keep coming back down here all the way from New York. He came down and took part in the annual North Carolina Woodworkers Picnic. He made a piece to raffle off, I believe, didn't you?
That's right.
You did, and your buddy Lynn came with you, and he made a cigar box guitar to raffle off for the picnic raffle. And then he didn't come down for the extravaganza last year. He only came for the picnic. But we have just, at the time of this video's recording, keep in mind this is late October. I don't know when the video will go up to the platform, but we've just taken part in the 25th annual Klingspor Woodworking Extravaganza, and at the time of this video's recording, again, this is my buddy's last full day in North Carolina before he begins his long journey home. So it's really cool to have him here and finally introduce him to you guys who have been following me for a long time. Now, I got into scroll saw woodworking, that's how we connected, but then we started doing laser engraving stuff.
Yes.
And you really took off with that, like so quickly. You got a 5-watt laser, which is what I started with, a longer Ray 5 5-watt laser. Now we currently have a 20-watt laser out in the workshop behind the camera here. And now we are, you know, just upgrading, and now I believe you have a whole laser lab in your workshop back home, correct?
I do. I have 3 of them, yeah, and
Nice.
for like doing production work and whatnot. But I've been just upgrading mine. I started out with, like Tyler said, the longer 5 watt, and I knew within a month it just wasn't gonna. Well, put it this way: I took to the hobby really quickly, and I said, "This is something I really like, and I'm going to enjoy." So I knew that that little 5 watt wasn't going to do it. However, I don't want to discourage people, because a 5 watt machine does a lot better job on the detail, so I don't want to discourage people. I sometimes wish I'd kept that 5 watt for that reason. So what I did is I actually got a combo machine, a 10, 20, and 30 watt. In addition to, I had my second one that I bought actually was a big machine. It's an Aitzer machine. That's a 36 watt, and that's a cutting machine. But like I say, being the big thing, there's a lot of things that you can't do the intricate work with that because it's just too powerful of a machine. But anyways, that's another thing. I asked Tyler to help me out, if he could help me, point me in the right direction to buy my first laser, and he said, well, I'm just getting into it myself, but I'll put you in touch with somebody that can. So we called a mutual friend of mine, and Sam, his name is, and he's just a wonderful, wonderful guy. He put me on the path, and from that point, the 3 of us got together, and it didn't take long at all before we learned the software on it, and just lickety-split. It was easy, and now I kind of look back, and it's kind of funny about how I struggled so much, because it's really not that hard.
It really isn't. And when I first opened the Lightburn software that you guys know I use for all the laser content I put over on all the social media platforms, it was just a bunch of different colored lines. And at the time, I didn't know what that represented. And what that represents is different layers for the project. Like, it'll do this layer first. Of course, you want to engrave everything first before you go about cutting it. So that would be 2 different colored pass, so to speak, if that makes any sense. But my buddy Sam, who I also want to get on this channel and interview him and introduce him to all of you guys out there in the big wide world we live in, he come down and give me a crash course in Lightburn, and he just simplified it so much, and I took to it so quickly. I had tried to watch a lot of videos over here on the platform, and they were just, I'm not trying to speak ill of them or anything, they were very good teachers, but what they were doing was overcomplicating it. And Sam just showed me in a way that I was able to pick it up and soak up the information like a sponge, and then I was off to the races over on my laser, and so was my buddy Robert here. And Robert, I want to ask, are you going to be interested in coming back next year for another trip?
Oh, absolutely. My plans are, I'd like to make it an annual trip. You know, like I say, this is my 4th trip actually down in 4 years, 3 years. And I would love to make it an annual trip. Of course, you know, you never know what hands you from year to year, but that's my plan. I definitely plan on coming back again.
Really cool. And this just shows the power of social media, my friends. A lot of people want to use social media in an ill way for misinformation and stuff like that, but there is positivity on the social media platforms. You've just got to take a little bit of time to find those people, find your people, your close-knit people in your community. I've said it before, the woodworking community is one of the best communities I have ever been a part of, and we are so close-knit. We're always willing to help each other out, solve problems. If I have a problem on the laser or something, I'll shoot him a message. I'll take a little video or some pictures, and I'll be like, hey, do you understand why it's doing this? It should be doing it this way. And 9 times out of 10, he'll
send a file back and forth.
Or send a file back and forth, and tinker with it, and, you know, mess with it in the software. I mean, it's great to have that camaraderie, and I always say, anytime you get a group of woodworkers together, it's always a great time. And smiles, memories, laughter, and 9 times out of 10, sawdust is made, my friend. So never be afraid to use social media for the positive things in life. And that's just another thing. You can see here, I am a younger individual. Robert here, as you can tell, he's older than me, but we get along just like best friends. You know, we talk nearly every day, and age is just a number, my friends, when it comes to your friends and everything. But always pick friends that, as I always say, inspire, educate, elevate, and motivate you and everything else, and you will be better off for it with all of the positivity in your life. Now, buddy, is there anything else you want to tell them out there before we sign off?
Well, the only thing I can say is just, I'm going to echo what the pirate just said there, was the fact that the woodworking community is the best ever. Very rarely do you hear about people that don't want to share. They're always open and sharing and everything, and that's the best part about it. And what you don't know, you can learn in a thing. A lot of people, you have to understand, they're visual type people, you know, and that's, I think, really the boom of YouTube and why that got started and how it got started. Because people want to get a quick thing and they can learn it real quickly, and that's why I'm a visual type person. But other than that, I have enjoyed myself immensely down here. I appreciate the first time that you invited me down here. I think I surprised him by saying, yes, I'll be down.
He did.
But anyway, we made it, and now it's, as you can hear, it's going to be hopefully an annual trip for a good many years to come.
And my friend Robert here, he does have a small YouTube channel. He does not post as much as I do, but he does from time to time upload videos. He does have a shop tour on his YouTube channel. I'll have it linked down in the description box below. If you guys would like to go and give him a shout out, go leave him a nice word of encouragement on some of his videos, and also tour his workshop. I know shop tours are very, very popular, my friends. But this has just been a blessing for him to come down annually and spend some time with us. We always go to a few places. We went to the hardwood store in North Carolina. We've been to some historical places. We've went out to eat to a few different places. So it's just been a blessing. And again, I'm just so humbled by the outpouring of support over here on this platform and how many individuals that I have met in the big wide world we live in. Keep encouraging me to do these interviews, my friends. I'm always happy to bring people on the channel and introduce them to you and get them more notoriety, so to speak, and get them recognized out in the maker world and community we live in. But please continue to like, share, follow, and subscribe to all social media posts and platforms. Again, my buddy Robert's channel will be linked down in the description box below if you'd like to go and give his videos a view, excuse me. But that's going to be about all for this video. Thank you, buddy, for coming on to the channel. That's going to be about all, my friends. And I want you guys to always remember, if I can make it or do it, so can you. I'm the Artisan Pirate. This is my buddy Robert. Take care, and we'll see you guys real soon.